Hello everybody, this is Denver for State Champs Esports. And today we are going to be playing, as you may or may not be able to tell by looking at the screen, today we are going to be playing Sonic Spinball. Let's get it started. First thing right up at the top, as we do every time, we have to thank our sponsors. We not only do we have to, but we want to thank our sponsors because they really make everything that we do possible. So big shout out to Lawrence Tech, Army Michigan, and Hungry Howie's Pizza. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring all these live streams and our weekly show, which, by the way, we just put out a new show this week, or today actually, for this week. Go on our Facebook or YouTube channels and check out the show. Oh no, Sonic, oh. Now, I've never played Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball, or Sonic Spinball as I think most people call it. I was a pretty casual Sonic fan, but not diehard enough to really go that extra mile and get this kind of what's considered a spin-off, pun intended, not a true sequel. And so this is really my first time really seeing any of this. Now, obviously, being that it's pinball, it's not that different than any other kind of pinball video version. Now, I will say I am a big pinball fan, so right away, I do enjoy these sorts of video games, and I like the multiple tiers here. Oh, why, Sonic? Why? All right. Now you might be asking yourself, well, if I'm not a big Sonic fan, am I playing it because I'm a big pinball fan? And when I say pinball, I'm also a big fan of the actual real, quote unquote, real pinball machines. I've been to some great pinball events where they just have vendors who sell all their machines. They just all come and fill up an arena, and they just put all the games on free play. You pay your admission up top and or at the door, and then you just go. So, but that is not the reason why I'm playing Sonic Spinball today. I am playing Sonic Spinball because I just got finished watching High Score over on Netflix, the 6-part series about gaming. Excuse me. And I believe it was episode 3 or 4 where they go into the history of SEGA. They had a whole episode dedicated to the Nintendo, or the NES, I should say. And I was kind of surprised because they made no mention of SEGA, and then lo and behold, the very next episode was all about SEGA. And if you've listened or watched any of our other SEGA Genesis live streams, a lot of the information that we've covered or I've covered, they went over in the show. One of the interesting things that I wasn't familiar with was, just as Nintendo had done their national championships, Sega also had their own version, and kind of in keeping with the more mature, edgier games and audience they were trying to appeal to, their championship was done in conjunction with MTV, and the finals were on Alcatraz Island. So that was pretty cool. The campaign was called Rock on Rock, or The Rock on the Rock, or something like that. And so they talked to the guy who actually won the championships, and that was really interesting. The other cool thing about the episode was that they talked to the CEO of SEGA America. Why can't I jump and spin? Come on, baby. Sonic, you're killing me here. There we go. Sorry, folks. I had a little controller brain fart there. So they talked to the Sega CEO, and he kind of went over all of the strategies that he used, which we've kind of talked about in the other shows, like I mentioned. But he also, they also had some great clips and footage, of like a bunch of the old commercials. And he kind of clearly outlined the 5-step strategy that Sega used to dethrone Nintendo, because at the time that SEGA Genesis came along, Nintendo had pretty much, I think they said like 98% of the market. And by the time SEGA Genesis was done, okay, 5 million, that's not too shabby. I didn't, layer 1, I didn't get to put my initials in. By the time SEGA Genesis hit its peak, it had surpassed Nintendo, which is pretty impressive, or the NES, I should say. Alright, so I guess we're starting back here, eh? Although action didn't get me anything. Ooh. Yeah, so step 1 was in this 5-part plan to dethrone Nintendo. Step 1 was to lower the price. Okay, easy enough. Step 2 was... oh, geez, what was step 2? I know step 3 was sports. They wanted to bring in sports games. That was something that Nintendo hadn't really done. And so this episode spent a lot of time talking about the development of Madden Football, which I guess had in 8-bit form had been released for the PC, and then in the 16-bit world, Sega had snagged the rights for that. That was created by Electronic Arts, which we've talked about them in the past. Trip Hawkins and his team over there, and kind of really how it revolutionized sports games, because up to that point, sports games didn't really look like actual sports, you know, except for maybe golf, you know, some of the more basic stuff. They also wanted to appeal to one of the steps was to make it cool for teens, because they figured, well, if teens liked it, older kids liked it, then the younger kids would want to emulate the older kids, and they would eventually start wanting to play the SEGA Genesis. And they also wanted to just make fun of Nintendo, which is where their slogan, SEGA Genesis does what Nintendo don't. And they showed a bunch of the old commercials. And so, yeah, those were a lot of fun. And then step number 2, how can I forget? That's the whole reason why I'm playing this game tonight, was they wanted a mascot to rival Mario. And if you remember from our Sega or Sonic the Hedgehog live stream, we kind of went in depth all into the creation of Sonic, so you can go back and check that out if you're interested. But that kind of got me thinking, okay, well, I know the SEGA Genesis has a couple other Sonic games, so let's give these other ones a shot since we played the original. And I didn't want to play Sonic 2 just because we had played the original, we had played the original Sonic, just earlier this week. So I figured Sonic Spinball would be different enough from the kind of the main Sonic games, or technically those other ones are sequels, whereas Sonic Spinball is a spin-off. Now, when this game was released, it was not a big hit. People were, I think, expecting more of a sequel, and so they had this kind of, old school arcade version, which left a little people to be desired, or left people, wanting something more along the lines of what they were used to with the first 2 Sonics. Now, the whole reason that this game even came into existence was that Sonic 3 was not going to be ready by the Christmas shopping season of 1993. So, with just 2 months of prep time, the U.S. team, which I believe is the SEGA Institute, they were tasked with designing this game. They figured, okay, it's a pinball-based game, so strategy-wise, it wasn't going to be that hard to create in that short window of time. So within 2 months, they got the game ready and got it approved. I know there was a little snafu with the original theme song. They used it in the game, but they didn't have rights to use it for this pinball version, and so they had to real quick, within just a couple of hours. They were under such a tight deadline. They had a couple of hours to get a new song written and coded into the game. So pretty wild. Oh, come on, baby, jump. Okay. Now the game, what is interesting is that the game is actually in pretty rarefied air, even though it got mediocre reviews. You can tell just how popular the Sonic franchise was, because this is one of the few games that sold over 1 million copies. So basically the top 15 games, which has like Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat 2 and 3, and then Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and a lot of the sports games, the Madden stuff. This game is right up there with those in terms of sales. So it's pretty wild that, a game that got such, average reviews. I would say for the most part it was, looking at all the different reviews out there, it was probably a good, solid C+, B-. So it just goes to show you the power of Sonic and the shrewd timing of getting this right out before Christmas. It was a new... Oh, I turned instead of jumped. Okay. But I don't know if it was because of the popularity, of Sonic. But the game did surprisingly have some legs to it. 10 years after its initial release, they made a sequel, a true sequel to the pinball game, and the game has also been, ported over to like 10 different platforms. So come on, jump for the life of... Ooh, there we go. So yeah, it's been on a plethora of platforms, including the mobile iOS. So we might do a little crossover episode here. Not today, probably not right away, but I would definitely like to see how this one holds up onto my iPhone, see if they've made any updates, and because a lot of times I know they have to change the aspect ratio to fit the mobile, so you're getting the full screen width in there. So yeah, I'll be definitely curious to check that out. Now I was also going to play a fighting game, because one of the other episodes of High Score, they kind of go over all of the fighting games, like Street Fighter 2, which we've streamed on an earlier episode. You can go check that out. They also did, went over Mortal Kombat. And that was really interesting, how that came about. Essentially, Mortal Kombat was like a riff off of... lost my train of thought. Mortal Kombat was a riff off of Street Fighter, because Street Fighter 2 was hugely successful, and I believe it was Bally wanted to kind of cash in on that, and so the designers for Mortal Kombat said, okay, well, we don't want to just make a rip-off, so let's do, kind of everything different from Street Fighter. Street Fighter was cartoony, so they went super realistic. Street Fighter also had a lot of humor to it, so this one they made it really gory and intense. And obviously it worked, and just goes to show you that you can be inspired by another game, but what separates a ripoff from, you know, true greatness is that you gotta put your own spin on it. You gotta make it unique and special and different. Ooh, okay, so I believe there are a few other fighting games. Since we played Street Fighter 2 already, I believe there are some other fighting games. I believe Virtual Fighter is on the SEGA Genesis Mini, which are all the games that I've been streaming for this SEGA Genesis series. And then, of course, we've still got Sonic 2, so maybe we'll play that next week. But yeah, we're doing pretty good. I'm making my way slowly through all of the SEGA Genesis mini games, which I believe there's 40-ish or so games. Yesterday we played Alex Kidd, which ironically was kind of like the original mascot, or the unofficial mascot for Sega. That was a really popular character for their Master System, but that was pretty kiddie-ish and cartoonish. Here you can see Sonic. He's got all of his trademark sarcasm. At the beginning of the game, I wasn't moving when I first, started, so, Sonic's kind of tapping his foot impatiently, waiting for you, and they're flashing messages, like get a move on and stuff. So, Sonic definitely was a little edgier, a little bit more rebellious than that Alex Kidd character. Alright. Now that I'm playing this, I think what I like about pinball is that there are moments where there's a lot going on. The ball's really moving, and the flippers are moving, and everything's just going crazy. But then there's also these moments where you're just kind of waiting for the ball to land or hit, and it's more of a patience are involved, and it's more meditative, if you will. So it's a good variety. Although I'll be honest, it's playing pinball in a video game always seems like a little bit of a cheat. I don't know, there's just something about the kind of the organic pushing of a real button and actual flippers as opposed to Alright, so I think this is going to be my last round, folks, because there's really only so much you can do with this pinball game. It's pretty repetitive. I would imagine that was one of the reasons why it was so quick and easy to develop, is there's not a whole lot to it. Gameplay gets fairly monotonous. Although I do like how you can go into different screens. And so, as far as pinball goes, this is fairly complex and interesting. And of course, the design, very, very Sonic-esque, bright and colorful, with a little bit of a edge. Okay, I got stuck like in a loop there. Oh boy. There, okay. Now we're talking, okay. Uh-oh. Yep. Okay, good. Let's... So, needless to say, if you have not seen the High Score show on Netflix, definitely for sure check that out. Some of the other episodes cover some really interesting topics like esports and mobile online gaming, you know, Doom. They really spent a lot of time with the co-creator of Doom. And they also go into like one of the first, or at least early, LGBTQ video games called the Gay Blade. And then they also, in the Madden segment, they also talked about how, you know, really there was, in the early games, there was, you know, no characters, no players in the game that, you know, were people of color, which is ironic because, you know, all the pro athletes, you know, were, you know, very diverse group. And so they had a young African American kid that went to work for the company that made SEGA Electronic Arts, and you know, he really pushed hard to get, you know, that representation. Come on, there we go. Whoop. Come on. I always get stuck here at this point. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're talking. Whee! I went the other way last time. Well, that was fun. Alright. Alright, Sega. I'm impressed. Am I back at the beginning? Where am I? Oh. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Back to this part again. Alright, what if I just let him fall through? Oh, I can't let him do that. Alright, cleanup complete. I don't know what that means, but I completed something, so that's gotta be good, right? Worm banged. Is that what it said? Worm banged or worm bagged? Yeah, come on, get up over there. How the heck? There we go. Good job, Sonic. I gotta say, this is a pretty... Oh, I wanted to go the other way. This is a pretty big game. Emerald power. I got the power. How is if I go this way? Have I been on this side yet? Wah. Game over. Alright, let's see. What was my final tally? Did I go out on top? That's what I like. I like the... Ooh, 11 million! I think that's first place. Yes. Alright, see, I always feel like a failure when I go out on a losing streak. This is the way I like to do it. Get first place, have fun. I will say, got mediocre reviews, but I loved it. I love pinball. I love Sonic. So this is a great match for me. I would highly recommend it if you like both of those things. Check it out. A lot of fun. I would say it was. It will be played again. That's kind of my litmus. Will I go back to this game since there's so many other games out there? Will I go back? Yes, I will play Sonic Spinball again. Thanks for watching. I've been Denver for State Champs Esports, And this has been our Sega Genesis Retro live stream. Thank our sponsors one last time: Lawrence Tech, Army Michigan, Hungry Howie's, and hopefully we'll see you guys tomorrow. We got another Sega Genesis game lined up. Don't forget to check out our other live stream, our mobile gaming, and of course don't forget to check out our new show that just debuted earlier today on our YouTube and Facebook channels.